I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby.
Regulators, mount up. Okay, we're kind of in my little studio area here that I've set up. So I'm going to go over a quick brief of the components that I bought for my PC build here. Sometimes I wear reading glasses, so you just have to bear with me on that. So I got a box of goodies. Everything's complete, so I'm filming this afterwards. And I'll show you what I bought and what I installed. I will tell you it was pretty simple to install everything into this and get it up and running. I did have a couple of areas that I'll actually kind of have special videos on, so that you can see. Maybe it'll help you when you do your build. But overall, it was fairly straightforward, smooth, and works like a charm. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, this PC is running. You don't even hear it. With those 4 fans that are on the tower and then the one on the CPU, super quiet. So anyway, let's get into the components that I used to build my editing gaming PC. So first off, I went with the ASRock B450M HDV R4 as my motherboard. It's the thing about this is the build that I did is probably intermediate. It's not the most high-tech, most expensive stuff, yet it's not the bare bones either. So this one here, this is set up for all the modern components right now that you can hook up to a motherboard. It has 2 DDR RAM slots, an SSDR slot. This has an Ethernet connection, but you can add a Wi-Fi card to it, which I did. So that's the motherboard I bought. ASRock B450M HDV R4.0. Then let's see what else we got in here. Oh, for the CPU, I went with the Ryzen 3 3200 second gen processor, radeon graphics. Now this had a this had a cooling fan also with it. That's why I went with this one. So it's got the fan built right. I mean, you put the CPU in and then you put the fan, it screws up over the top of it. That's why I went with this one. And the fact that Ryzen and Athlon AMD products are compatible with the motherboard. Those are the important things. Make sure everything is compatible when you purchase. And then, let's see. This is the graphics card. Once again, it's an ASRock, AZRock. This is the Radeon RX 570. 4 gigabyte GDDRS DirectX drive. Yeah, it's a gaming graphics card. Has dual fans on it, and works just great because it's compatible. That motherboard only has one graphics card slot. So if you're thinking you're going to run 2 graphics card, this only has one. So you may have to look at a different motherboard. So for the RAM, I went with 2 Ripjaws brand 16 gigabyte DDR. These are DDR4 performance. I went with 2 of them So I have 32 gigs of RAM. They said you could go with 16, but if you're going to be getting into a lot of 4K type editing, you probably should go up to 32. So that's what I did, just to make sure we had enough. And in this motherboard, it has 2 RAM slots. So if you're wanting to like partition and things like that, words that I have no idea what they mean, you might have to look at a different motherboard. I know some of them have 4 slots and 2 graphics cards, and you can put extra ssdrs in and things like that, but this one doesn't have it. So that's why I went with ripjaws RAM cards, 16 gigs each for 32. Now for the SSDR, I went with a Avante Swordfish 500 gig M2 connector, and I'll definitely cover that in the video, show you where it's at. But that's what I went with 500 gig. I'm going to be running a separate external hard drive, so I didn't need that much internal storage. It says, if from my research is, especially if you're gaming or editing, you don't want too much components inside, because that slows down, because it's got to be processing all that for better operating and faster rendering and things like that. You need to have an external hard drive, so it's reading from there, not having to go through all the way through the computer, I guess is the easiest way to say it. I don't know. So then to power all this, I went with the that's right. I went with the Thermaltake Smart Series 600 watt PSU. That's what the technical term there. No idea what power source unit, I guess. I don't know. But I went with 600 watts. You can get away with 500, but they say you're going to be better off going with 600, 650, 700 as your power. Just, you know, it doesn't have to work as hard. The fan's not having to come on and off all the time. So on my build, I just got Windows 10. I bought a USB flash drive online with a product key code, and used that to install Windows 10 on the system. And then I did buy an external DVD reader writer that plugs into a USB port. I just bought one in case there was some hard drive for installation, so I did that. Software that requires a CD reader, I have it now. Because I've been running laptops, I don't have a keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So I did buy, I guess it's a lime-eyed color light up gaming mouse and keyboard. I'll tell you right now, the quality's not the best. It's all plastic, but hey, it'll work and it lights up. It's kind of cool. So I did that for the keyboard and the mouse. Let me turn you around. I'll show you the monitor real quick. So I went with a, this is actually a refurbished Acer, refurbished 24-inch LCD monitor. Editing software up. So we'll get that smaller so you can see the different colors. I was just watching a video. Let's just click on a video here. See what, let's find a colorful video here. You can see how clear that picture is on there. So that's the monitor I went with. Like I said, it was refurbished, so it's got a 90-day warranty and stuff. All right, the first piece of the build is the case. Now, taking the screws off, let's see if I can take the glass off. There we go. Set that down out of the way. Now, why did I go with this case here? It is a Rosewill. And why did I go with this one? Well, you've got your USB power on ports up here, headphone, microphone. Then what you see is it's got 1, 2, 3 fans in the front, but it does have one in the back. You got your wiring, and then it has what's called the basement for the power pack there. So this case, these fan lights, they do illuminate when they're powered on. So okay, you see I've got my audio hooked up here. I took out the graphics card because it was in the way. This is probably the most critical, this little thing right in here. This is your power on switch, your LEDs, your reset. As you can see, here's in the manual, it shows how it is all connected. This is the motherboard manual, and then the explanation of what each one of those are. They're all labeled. You just need to make sure you get them hooked in there right. Okay, so here's the motherboard and all its attachments. The one issue I had for me, because I've never built one before, was this plug right up there. The plug looked like it was a 8-pin. That plug right there, it looked like it was an 8-pin, and I couldn't figure out how to get it, but I watched a video and it actually splits in half real easy. It just pulls apart, and then that's the 4-pin. That's the oh, what do they call it? They call it the ATX 12V1, and it's like one of the most important ones, so you got to get that hooked up. And you know, like I said, this has 3 fans. I have all my stuff down in here that I want to keep. It has 3 fans, so I had to buy, because this only has 2 fan ports. Here I got one plugged in for the back fan right there, and then the other one is actually this cable right there, this cable right here, which will go around the other side, but I have it just kind of roped around in there. And what that is I haven't hooked it up yet, but that is a splitter. So it's got, you got your CPU fan you can hook to it, and then you've got 4 other fans you can hook up, but I only have 3. So we'll get those hooked up and we'll go from there. So as you can see, I got the 3 fans going, the back one going, the CPU fan. The motherboard had its own connection for the CPU fan, so when I said there was only 2, there's actually one for the motherboard too, and then 2 auxiliary fans. I ended up just sticking that splitter right here on the top of that they call the basement of these cabinets, these towers. I put it there because I was afraid that in between these slots to the back panel, there just wasn't enough room for everything. So just stuck it down there. It's taped on there, double back sided tape. If I need to move it, I can. But yeah, let's get the tempered glass panel back on this side. So I wrote down all the prices that I bought everything. So I found everything on eBay of all places. Just because I looked at Amazon, I looked at a few other sites, and the eBay prices were a little bit cheaper. And I'm all about saving $1 here and there. So that's what I did. Now, I've got it all broke down here on my PC, and I'll kind of go over it real quick. The tower I bought was an ATX mid-tower gaming PC. It's called a Rosewill, and it was $80. Now, all these have tax, of course, but I didn't add that in here. The motherboard, once again, is the ASRock B450M HDR R4.0. I picked that up for $104. Then the CPU with the fan combo, AMD Ryzen 3 3200G with the Vega 8 graphics quad core, that was $100. Then my graphics card, the ASRock RX 570 Radeon Phantom Gaming 4G, that was $130. The ripjaws DDR sdram, the g.skills ripjaws 16 gig DDR4 3000, it was a packet of 2 of them, so it's 32 gigs total, was $110. And then the adata swordfish M2 ssdr card, 500 gigs, was $60. So, and then your power source, your PCU themaltake smart 600 watts, was $58. So that right there is the basics. That's what you need to get it up and running. And that totaled to $642 for that part of it. Probably figure with tax, $680 maybe, for all that. Then the things that I added that you don't need, but definitely are nice to have, if you want to say it, or things that I didn't have, like the Wi-Fi with Bluetooth adapter. What is it, a PCLE connector, Wi-Fi style? That was $14. Then you had your that little fan splitter that I talked about, so I can hook up all the fans. That was $9. That was a 5-hub fan splitter. Then the operating system, the Windows 10 that I went with, now it was a USB flash drive, and it was sealed with the product key. That's the important part. You have to get that product key in order to license it with Windows 10. So that was $23. So, you know, not that expensive. The monitor, like I said, was refurbished. It's an Acer LCD 24. I'm not going to say it's 4K, but it's what, 1960 is the highest resolution you can get. Was $80. Now it only has the standard AV type connector in the back, or it has the new DVI type connector. It doesn't have HDMI. So if you're wanting HDMI connector, this monitor doesn't have it. I thought it did when I ordered it, but it doesn't. And then, so that monitor was $80. Then the keyboard and mouse that I ordered, Limeide, was $23 for the mouse and the keyboard. The DVD CD read writer that I purchased, external USB 3.0, was $23 too. And then my external hard drive, it is a Stargate 5 terabyte for $90 for 5 terabytes. So that portion of the add-ons that I did was another $262, giving me a total of, adding it up, $904 for this build as it sits. In today's prices, which is, what is it? So that's what it cost for the components and the PC that I built. And then my Premiere Pro is a monthly fee, $21 a month to have access to it all. I had bought a Corel Video Studio Ultimate 2020 editing software, and don't buy it. It kept crashing on me. And you can shut some things off and it'll work, but then it just takes forever. That is my cost on what it was to build this. Those were the products I bought. Yeah, it was overall pretty simple. I could do another one now probably without even thinking about it, actually, because everything's plug and play. And who knows, I may want to upgrade sometime. Wasn't that hard? And I love this tower, I have to tell you. I really would recommend that one. It's nice and quiet. Those fans, all of them hooked up. The colors. It's got a tempered glass. Nice tower. So that is my PC build. If you have any questions, remember, I'm not a tech guy. I'm just some dude sitting in a room editing videos, and I don't do that very well. But I'll be happy to try to answer anything that you might ask. Like I always say, though, if I can do this, you can too. Thank you for watching. Till next time.